You are now listening to the Serial Boss Rejects podcast.
And we live episode 60,
YouTube
special. So, well, two things right off the bat. One, I went to the dentist, and for the first time in my life, don't have a single cavity.
Wow,
Which
almost
is
30 years old. Congratulations.
Filled. All of my teeth probably already been filled, so there is no more room.
Your teeth are literally made of metal.
Yeah, and there's a tool in one of my teeth in the Army. So when I was in the Army, they're like, oh, you get health, you get dental. No, you get health and dental of soldiers who are training in that field. You're a guinea pig. There is no, you're seeing a real doctor and dentist. This dude is drilling my tooth because I haven't had a cavity, and stops drilling and goes and gets somebody else to come look at my tooth. And this dude goes, yeah, he's going to need a root canal and a crown. Like, what did you do to my tooth? They end up filling the hole with some gel just to get me to like Friday where they had an opening.
Right.
And even fixed, they were just like, I fill it with some like concrete or some gel, and we'll deal with it on Friday. Well, Friday comes, they're doing a root canal, and this dude is doing it, stops what he's doing, goes gets another dude. That dude comes over, looks, starts digging in my tooth, and then goes, listen, so a pick broke off in one of your canals in your tooth. He goes, listen, it's all right. The root canal is done, but we're going to give you some amoxicillin to go home with just to make sure it doesn't get affected, but it's not going to hurt anything. It happens.
I don't have one of those in my tooth.
I go get x-rays done, and these dentists are like, there's something in your tooth. And I'm like, oh, yeah. When I was in the Army, they broke a pick off doing a root canal and left it. And they look so horrified when I tell them that. And they're like, they just can't believe. And yeah, I got one of the picks in my tooth right now. And the Army's like, we'll give him some amoxicillin, and send him on his way. He'll be all right. Crown that thing.
There you go. That's awful.
But, so I don't know how I haven't discovered this this documentary / movie yet. Yeah. It's created by the dude. Johnny Knoxville produced this. It's called The Wild and Wonderful Whites of West Virginia.
Okay.
And it is the wildest documentary I've ever watched in my entire life. It makes Tiger King look like a Christian movie. This, and I know your girl went to college in West Virginia.
Sure did.
The fact that these people exist in life is so crazy to me. It is a family who keep it in the family. There's like two dudes who are designated in the, like, bang all the women in the family. Yeah. And the cousins are stabbing each other. The one cousin shot another cousin in the face 3 times. The one girl gave birth at the hospital and then snorted pain pills off the little bookshelf next to the bed right after giving birth. And then DSS took the baby, and her family's like all outside the hospital, like, where's the baby at? And she's like, they took the baby. It is the craziest thing I have ever watched, ever. Like, it needs to be reviewed.
Right.
Like, it is.
Let's do it.
I thought I had to take I thought about taking a sick day from work just to comprehend what I watched. That's how, like, I was like, I can't go to work with this on my mind. This is insane. So what is like the craziest thing you could possibly think of that had, whether it was like a documentary, movie, show, because nothing can compare to this.
The craziest thing I guess would be Tiger Kings. That's like the fucking craziest shit I've seen in the last 6 months. Yeah.
And this thing made Tiger King look like a children's movie.
Yeah. Wow.
It everyone needs to watch this. Like I don't know how I've never came across this. I'm disappointed in myself for not coming across this earlier. It's absolutely insane.
Damn,
but
I can't wait.
But we had UFC 253 and that.
I'm here with the winner, Derek Lewis. Derek, why'd you take your pants off? My balls was hot.
Who the fuck is that guy? Who the fuck is that?
And we might be staring at a future UFC heavyweight champion, Francis Ngannou, ladies and gentlemen.
This man is scared.
Dominic Reyes, Jan Blachowicz. I called it. Jan Blachowicz coming out, that Polish power. When you got a dude who's eating pierogies and drinking that potato vodka, you can't stop a man who's living like that.
He looked good. He looked real good.
Those body kicks.
Dude, it looked like fucking Reyes had a rib poking out of his goddamn side after round 1.
He threw like 3 body kicks, and that dude's side was completely black.
Yeah, dude, it was wild.
That takes like, for anybody else, that takes like 5 rounds of body kicks to start seeing.
Oh yeah.
Especially so quick. Like every kick, his side just got darker instantly.
Mm-hmm. Red.
It was
red
like on contact.
Yep.
And then he broke his nose that second round. When you're taking body kicks like that, just the wind is getting sucked out of you. Now you can't breathe out of your nose. It was a wreck, that Polish power.
Yeah, dude, that was crazy. Like, I was surprised. I didn't expect Reyes to fight like that. I think he just was completely caught off guard by Blachowicz's power, to be honest.
Yeah, John Jones needs to take that fight.
He immediately called him out, and I was like, I don't know how I feel about that.
John Jones doesn't want to go to heavyweight. He don't want to fight Francis. He don't want a piece of Francis.
Stipe doesn't even want to fight Francis.
Yeah, Stipe.
The champion in the division does not want to fight this guy.
Literally,
why would you?
He won his title, and they were like, "So Francis is next." He's like, "I just want to go home, relax,
Exactly.
Let's just see what."
Oh.
He don't. Nobody wants a piece of Francis.
I mean, I think Stipe would dust Francis, but I wouldn't want to fight him if I were Stipe.
I don't know. I feel like it'd be a lot different fight. I feel like it'd be slightly different. Francis.
I don't know. You thought the Costa Adesanya fight would be different too.
I did. I don't know what happened there.
I do.
Well, before that, who do you think? John Jones comes back, faces Juan. Who do you think would take?
John Jones.
I think it would too, because I think it'd be a very boring fight because Blachowicz was sitting back waiting for Reyes to come to him.
Yeah.
John Jones sits back, waits for you to come to him, and they both like to keep the distance with kicks. I feel like it'd be a boring fight, actually.
Yeah. Although maybe since John Jones not the champ anymore, is not fighting from a lead, maybe he'll go back to that fucking flying knee out of the gate against Shogun. Maybe he'll go back to that shit because he's got nothing to lose at that point. He's not the champ. He's not defending a title.
That is true. That is true. That could
John
be
Jones.
Yes, it could be. But Paulo Costa, I don't know what happened. Where was that dude who's fought so many times before?
Wow, it looked like he took all of his energy instead of punching. He used it on creative ways to shit talk in the octagon.
Yeah. He stood there, and Adesanya went, "Yo, Romero."
Dumb.
Dude, I died. He said, "Yo, it's Romero."
Like,
And,
dude, you can't shit talk before you even clip the guy.
Israel looked good though.
Good.
Like he was untouchable. Like he just dominated. Like
I didn't know he was 6'4".
not. I'll
He's
be
as tall
honest.
as John Jones.
Yeah, that would be an amazing fight.
Right?
Make that fight. I'd like to see that fight. The two of them would be a perfect match for each other.
Mm.
But Israel Adesanya, that dude is the truth. I can no longer doubt that. That dude is the truth.
He put a fucking hurt on Paulo Costa, who was like, if you think of somebody, if you think of that division and you think like, okay, prototypical guy for this weight class, it's just like Paulo Costa, shorter guy, jacked as fuck, runs through everybody. And you look at fucking Israel Adesanya, super tall, lanky. He's a mini John Jones, or even though he's not mini, he's the same fucking height as him, which is crazy.
Yeah.
It's just like, that's how champions are born, right there. Fucking crazy reach, crazy good reflexes, can head kick you at any goddamn second, clearly. Oh.
Yep.
He looked so good.
If I was Paulo Costa, I'd go home, I'd close the blinds, I wouldn't come out for at least a week. Any man, if you get knocked out, that's got to be embarrassing enough.
Mm-hmm.
For you to be knocked out laying on your face, and the dude who just knocked you out dry humps you.
Goes full doggy style on you, dude.
Like, yeah, it just goes doggy style on you while you're face down.
Mm-mm.
Like, that is, like, straight up disrespectful, but he had it coming. Like, I was like,
after all that shit talking, dude, pre-fight shit talking, he brought out the white belt. He was like, bro, you got knocked out by a white belt. Like, that's, come on.
Yeah.
You did all that shit talking, and then you got blasted in the fucking second round.
Like, just go home, shut your blinds, don't keep the lights off, shut your phone off. I'd just disappear till everyone forgot.
That's how you would be if you were in the UFC and lost, because you're the biggest shit talker there's ever been.
Yeah,
if you lost, you just, I'm packing it in, close the doors. I'm done for a week.
But I wouldn't pull a Ronda Rousey. I'd be,
just retire.
But I mean, yeah, that like I'm like the Paulo Costa, and but I don't know. That was good for you, Israel. You're a beast.
Oh yeah.
Oh yeah. And then UFC 254, you got Robert Whittaker and Jared Cormier. That's for the number one contender. That'll be a good test for Israel, but
254 is loaded, dude. Did you see the fight card for 254?
And it's a 2 p.m. card.
Gaethje Khabib, Valentina Shevchenko's fighting. They just added Mike. Yeah, they just added Mike Perry and Robbie Lawler.
What?
Yeah, dude.
Mike Perry and Robbie Lawler is like the perfect fight that you could possibly make.
It's like
that
the nicest.
Fight alone.
It's the nicest guy in the UFC versus the biggest douche in the UFC.
But Robbie Lawler will throw down.
Oh, 100%, 100%.
He's got that brawler mentality of Mike Perry.
Yeah.
The two of them will brawl.
Oh yeah, Robbie Lawler clearly doesn't care about losing a fight, obviously, because he just loses all of his fights. He's just the nicest guy ever. But that's going to be a banger.
Wow. I didn't know that.
Yeah, I saw that on Twitter today.
Wow, that's breaking news.
Hell yeah.
But Tony Ferguson and Dustin Poirier were supposed to be on that card as well.
Mm-hmm.
And that got pulled because Dustin Poirier is crying about money. And then Tony Ferguson tweeted out, just pay the man. Like, Tony Ferguson's like, yo, let's fight.
Yep, Tony Ferguson will give up some of his purse to fucking let that fight happen.
Yeah, because Tony Ferguson knows if he beats Dustin Poirier, he's getting that next crack, and it might be Khabib. But Gaethje might be. I'm gonna get too hyped in the 254. It's a stacked card.
Oh yeah, it's crazy. I'm so pumped for it.
Oh man, that card is gonna be amazing. But 253, Dana White was not right with his fight of the year. He was hyping that fight of the year, Holocaust of Israel. Israel just shut that down.
Yeah, I saw that. It was definitely not fight of the year. He didn't even give him the chance though. Israel Adesanya was like, no, this is my fight of the year. This is me putting on a fucking clinic to prove all of you people wrong. Because that's what he said the entire time in the post-fight and all that stuff. He said, all you salty people are all upset that I lost. You lost a bunch of money betting against me. Look at that. He knew everybody was stacking the box against him, and he was ready. He came out and fucking head kicked his way to victory.
Yeah, good for him.
He looked excellent.
Ready for some movies?
Definitely, let's do it.
Hi, I'm Johnny Knoxville. Welcome to Jackass.
Come on, KG. This is no different than this. This is me. All right? I'm not a fucking athlete. This is my fucking way. This is how I win.
Let's put a smile on that face. And... why so serious?
Roads? Where we're going, we don't need roads.
Hey, listen up! If anybody need me, I'm gonna be working a big case for the FBI.
Avengers!
Assemble.
This week, we got the movie review of Black Panther.
Fuck you.
We got the movie title 12-Hour Shift, and we'll be giving away first issue of Black Panther Comic Framed.
Hell yeah. Big pump.
Oh yeah, movie title this week, 12-Hour Shift. Want to go first or the fur?
I'll go first. All
Bring
right,
it back
so
to the wrestling.
12-hour shift here. It's a movie about a fresh out of culinary school cook working his first shift at a restaurant that he just got a job at. Thinks it's going to be all nice and easy and sunshine and rainbows and clean aprons and it's going to be all beautiful. Okay? He walks in to go do prep for brunch, and it is metal music blaring, people chain smoking cigarettes right outside the back door, everybody's covered in tattoos, everybody else is already super drunk from the night before, so they're calling out and not coming in. So he's forced to work an entire 12-hour shift from brunch prep all the way up until late night bar closing, and he is basically immediately in love with the chaos. And it just takes him through his first day of basically getting the shit kicked out of him in a kitchen for 12 hours. Starring Danny McBride as the kitchen manager, Dax Shepard as the head chef, and Tom Holland is the culinary school graduate.
I like it.
Yeah.
Mine, I went with a dude who opens up sort of a 7-Eleven out in the ghetto where he works with his best friend to scam and fraud insurance money and launder money at the same time. So, they got side hustles. So to get the money laundered, they end up putting it in the register, putting it in the safe. Then the friend comes in, robs the place. He does an insurance claim. Insurance backs him the money. All the money's gone, which could be laundered. I don't know. It might be opposite ways, but they're moving money. They're frauding off insurance, and they just got this little system going, starring Danny DeVito, as the clerk,
Sure.
and his best friend who will be robbing him and splitting money with him and making sure the insurance claim go through. Charlie Day.
Charlie Day. They look like they could do that.
Right.
Little Always Sunny spinoff. I like it. Very good.
And the movie review this week, R.I.P. Chadwick,
R.I.P.
Black Panther, Marvel classic.
Absolutely. I'll go with the description here. So we got, after the death of his father, T'Challa returns home to the African nation of Wakanda to take his rightful place as king, when a powerful enemy suddenly reappears. T'Challa's mettle as king and as Black Panther gets tested when he's drawn into a conflict that puts the fate of Wakanda and the entire world at risk. Faced with treachery and danger, the young king must rally with his allies and release the full power of the Black Panther to defeat his foes and secure the safety of his people. Awesome fucking movie, I will say off the top of the rip. Came out in 2018. Obviously, filming probably a year to 18 months before that. So, 2016, 2017, which is right around when Chadwick was diagnosed with colon cancer. So, right off the rip, absolute warrior for going through, on a movie set, usually like 12, 16-hour days, 5-6 days a week, with fucking cancer. Like, that's baller as fuck. And to produce one of the best, if not the best, to some people, Marvel movies of all time, including, it grossed $1.3 billion at the box office. It's the highest grossing Marvel solo movie, obviously. Endgame was the most popular movie of all time. It was like $2.7 billion or some bullshit like that. But for $1.3 billion to have a largely black cast and stuff, I think that is by far the largest grossing movie for that, which is awesome. Ryan Coogler was the director. He did Creed, Creed 2, Fruitvale Station. Basically anything with Michael B. Jordan in it, he did it.
Yeah.
And fucking also, too, Michael B. Jordan playing Eric Killmonger. One of my favorite villains in the entire MCU, besides, I don't think we've done a review of this, but I would probably rank it Thanos, Killmonger, and then Loki as far as my favorite villains. Awesome. My initial thoughts on it, since we're obviously going to spoil the fuck out of the movie. It came out in 2018. Grow up if you haven't seen it. Come on, go watch it. I loved everything throughout the movie. Ruben's going to break it down, his thoughts, his synopsis of the movie. And then I liked everything about it except for the final fight, which got a little bit stretchy, I'll say, with the CGI. It looked like it looked kind of cartoony, which is the only downfall of an otherwise perfect movie in my eyes. But go ahead, Ruben.
Oh, yeah. So, I forget what the uncle's name is, where he goes to the Bronx and finds out that he ended up becoming a traitor, and
right.
And they end up killing him off, which ended up being Killmonger's dad.
His name was Njobu.
And which ended up building this rage inside Killmonger, and T'Challa takes
the mantle from his father.
Yep. And Killmonger ends up coming in wanting to fight for the throne, which he ends up beating T'Challa.
Yeah. By the way, Killmonger is fucking shredded in this movie.
Yeah.
Ripped.
And he actually throws Black Panther off the cliff, which he ends up being saved by
M'Baku.
Yeah, who ends up fighting him for his throne, which ended up losing. They end up saving him, and
they're part of the outcast Hill tribe, so they are not really part of like the main Wakanda shit. They don't abide by the king T'Chaka's rules, and then they become allies toward the end of the movie.
Yep. And then when Killmonger is in the throne, everything he wants it more. He wants to take over. He wants everyone to know who they are. He wants to rule over everything.
Yep. He wants to do essentially what he thinks happened to his ancestors back in the day.
Yes.
Pretty much.
And T'Challa comes back, ends up fighting for his throne, and ends up winning and taking the throne back. And that ending battle scene that you talked about,
Yeah, no, that's definitely a solid synopsis. It's pretty much the main beats of the story. Obviously, there is fucking Ulysses Claw is in the movie. He had his hand chopped off from Ultron and Age of Ultron, and he's in this movie. He has the bionic hand, and it shoots the hand cannon and stuff. That's pretty cool. That whole fight scene when they're in the forget what place that they're in, but they have the whole like underground casino thing. That whole scene is really cool.
Yeah. Yep.
I thought that was really cool. And I don't know if you noticed that, but he's with his main Denai Guerrera and Lupita Nyong'o, those two main actresses from the movie, and they're wearing black, yellow, and green, which is the flag of the main country that they were filming in, which is pretty cool. So that was a little Easter egg, and there's a lot of stuff like that. And they used, like, a lot of the set design and stuff was based off real African tribes, and obviously the language they use and speak in the movie and stuff is based off real African culture and stuff, which I thought was a really good direction to go in to show the actual, like, the authenticity of it, where they, like, melded into the culture really well. And that's a lot of the things that people said about it that are from those places, that they really enjoyed how authentic it felt.
Yeah. It was a great movie.
Absolutely. 100%.
I absolutely enjoyed it. And the Marvel, with Marvel alone, I'm a huge Spider-Man fan.
Yes,
Spider-Man, go-to. And Black Panther is definitely up there. It was a great movie. And with Black Panther 2 coming out, I read a few different things that they should use an Infinity Stone and bring back Killmonger as Black Panther, but what they're probably going to do is give the throne to his sister.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, give it to Shuri. That's what happened in the comics. She's been Black Panther in the comics a couple times, so I mean that's probably the direction they're going to go in.
Yeah.
So it makes most sense.
Have a female
exactly
take over as Black Panther. That's probably a lot better route.
Yeah, I mean that's probably the route that they were going to go eventually anyway, but it just, I guess, it just sped up their timeline a little bit as far as that goes. But I think that would be cool. The whole bring Killmonger back with an Infinity Stone, I think they left the door open for that when one of the snaps happened, maybe in an Endgame, because I mean he could have brought somebody. It's very up in the air how exactly people get brought back and people don't get brought back. Like, okay, did they bring back everybody that died? Did they bring back certain people? Did they leave certain people out? Basically just opening up that whole window, and then time travel also. You could bring back anybody you want because of time travel and all that stuff. So I would love to see Michael B. Jordan back in the MCU. He was, like I said, an amazing villain. And he, like, you agreed with some of the things he was saying, too, which is the crazy part.
Yeah.
Like, when he was saying, like, oh, I was fucking oppressed and all this stuff, and they left me, and your father killed my uncle, or your father killed my father, and just all this stuff. You felt like, yeah, I'd be fucking pissed off too if they just left you out there to fucking basically just rot wherever you were and didn't even bring you back to be with your family or your ancestors or your anybody. They just left you out there. Like, that's crazy.
Yep.
Yeah, so I felt that fucking weight from it. I'll go with some scores here unless you have anything else to say.
No.
Cool. So we got a 7.3 on IMDb, a 96% on Rotten Tomatoes, and a 92% on Metacritic. What do you got as far as a rating goes, my friend?
I actually got a 9.1 on this.
9.1. Well, conveniently,
I liked it a lot.
I went with a 9.1 as well.
So that seals that deal.
That
Gold
is Gold
Spoon
Spoon certified. Yes, sir. Get the Gold Spoon for the late Chadwick Boseman and Ryan Coogler and Michael B. Jordan and everybody else that was fucking awesome in that movie.
Absolutely.
They're fantastic. Can't wait to see all of them back on screen. Obviously, no more Chadwick Boseman, unfortunately, but give me some more Denai Guerrera and Lupita Nyong'o. I am fucking all in on them. They are some badass ladies, for sure.
Absolutely.
For sure.
And
now it's time.
We got our comic giveaway.
Yep. There were over 50 entries in the contest, which is pretty cool. Thought that was good. I randomly selected somebody. I only did it once. I didn't cheat. Fuck you guys if you think I cheated. I did not. So, we got it here. Joseph Nappy is the winner.
Joe Nappy?
Yeah.
Really?
The winner. He probably
Joe
voted when he was
Nappy's
down there with
taking
you.
Yeah, he could have just picked it up, man.
He could have just picked it up. Exactly right.
Joe Nappy taking it all for the win.
Yes, sir. Good for him.
Good for
Congratulations, bud. I appreciate you for voting. Thank you very much. Very good.
And now.
And there you go.
The news stories of the week.
Yes, sir.
Go ahead.
President-elect,
Go ahead.
Since you are attacking our news
not
organization,
not you.
Can you give us a chance?
Your organization's
you are attacking
terrible.
our news organization.
Your organization's
Can you give us a
terrible.
chance
Let's
to
go.
ask a question, sir?
Go ahead.
Sir,
Quiet.
can you state,
Quiet.
Mr. President-elect,
Go ahead.
can you
She's
state
asking a question. Don't be rude.
President-elect, can you give us a question?
Don't be
You're
rude.
attacking us. Can you give us a question?
Don't be rude. No, I'm not going to give you a question. I'm not going to give you a question.
Can you state categorically?
You are fake news.
Sir,
go ahead.
Can you state categorically that nobody...
3 news stories this week. First one, coming out of Florida. A Florida woman attempts to kidnap her neighbor's kids while they were home alone. Like, where were you going to bring them? Just back to your house? And, like, she knew, like, they stay home alone, and she's just like, I feel like kidnapping them today.
Okay. All right. Well, what's the end game? What do you plan on doing when you have a bunch of fucking bratty kids in your car?
Right. And second story, a son fakes his own kidnapping in Florida to trick his dad for money. Like, his dad probably already knew he was a piece of shit and needed money, and then some random dude's calling him up like, hey, I got your son. I'm going to need some money if you want to ever see him again. Like, the dad was probably like, keep him.
Yeah, exactly. Isn't that what they did in Horrible Bosses 2? Chris Pine's character, right? Didn't he fucking they kidnapped him, and then he was like, no, play along, and then they did the whole thing and he wasn't going to pay him? Right?
I vaguely remember.
Yeah, they kidnapped. It's been a minute. Who was the dad in Horrible Bosses 2? I gotta look this up because I'm pretty sure that's what happened.
Right? It's been a minute since Horrible Bosses.
Let's get this cast.
It's been a minute.
Yeah. Okay.
That's
Christoph Waltz. Yeah. Christoph Waltz was the dad, and Chris Pine got kidnapped, and then he wasn't gonna pay them. So he said, all right, fuck it, let's go along with it. And he tried to join in with the guys, but then obviously was just going to double-cross them, so they got arrested, and he got all the money. That's what it was. I remember now. That movie also had Kevin Spacey in it, and that guy likes to fuck, like, kids. So, not great.
Yeah, wasn't Charlie Day and Jennifer Aniston in it? And Jennifer Aniston was like...
She wanted to fuck him,
with the water and stuff.
Uh-huh. He's going to bounce on her boobies and stuff. That's what he said.
And last story, coming out of Jersey.
Oh, God.
Yep, it is. I'm actually pull the article up on it. It is, so I could hit you word for word with it.
Okay.
So a man on drugs is arrested for biting a seagull after it tried to steal his Big Mac.
Well, I mean, you paid money for the Big Mac, so you can't just let it fly away.
It was a 26-year-old man, and he sunk his teeth into it before throwing it to the floor. Police officers arrested him, took him to the hospital where he was under the influence of drugs, and he was arrested for endangering the welfare of a seagull. You know, good for you, man. Good for you.
That's the list of
the other
weird
story
laws.
I was going to, the other story that I was actually originally using for this, I couldn't get credible sources on it. It was the dude from Atlantic City who was shooting at the seagulls because they stole his funnel cake after he bought funnel cake. They stole his funnel cake and he started shooting them at the air. But I couldn't get a credible news source on it. And then it popped up. Another dude in Jersey is now here biting seagulls for trying to steal his Big Mac. I was like,
all I'm seeing is seagulls are the problem. They're the common denominator in these stories here.
These seagulls are an issue at the beach. You know,
take them out.
Did you see that one seagull that ate a rabbit whole?
No, I did not.
There's this big. This seagull is the size of a full-grown cat, and this thing was eating a rabbit.
What?
I have no clue where it is, but there's a video somewhere surfacing.
That's incredible.
Of a seagull eating a rabbit.
Damn, that's wild.
These seagulls are going to start taking over if we don't start eliminating them and biting them and throwing them to the ground and shooting them.
That's crazy.
These seagulls are in. And before we end, we have our top 5. I was excited for this, man. Our top 5 movies of the 90s.
Mm-hmm. Definitely. I'm big pumped on this. I didn't even go off of any, like, what were the top movies in the 90s or whatever. I just went from my dome, what were my favorite movies to watch as a kid? So, like, I tried to think of, okay, what were all of these movies? What were good movies? And then I went back and corroborated and made sure that they were in the 90s, just so I wasn't just pulling it out of my ass, obviously.
Yeah, that's what I did.
Yeah, so a lot of these are probably not the best movies, but they're ones that I'm just like, that's a 90s movie. That is, like, 100%, that came out in the 90s. It's got that, like, that fucking flavor to it, that 90s flavor. Like, yeah, this is a 90s movie with, like, terrible but pretty okay action. And, like, still, like, the kerpow punch sounds and shit.
Yeah, they did that.
It was all from the same, like, fight track. Every punch sounded the exact same, no matter it was Lethal Weapon or Beverly Hills Cop or fucking anything else. It was all the every single time.
100%. So, I'll go first. My number 5, right off the bat. Got to go 1995. Goofy movie.
Dude.
Classic.
Dude. A Goofy movie. Excellent.
That is like one that always is a go-to.
Mm-hmm.
You want a movie from the 90s? Can't go wrong with the Goofy movie.
No, absolutely not. It's a fantastic pick. I really enjoy that pick.
You know, the Leaning Tower of Cheddar?
Yes, I do remember that. That's funny. So mine, I couldn't do it without an honorable mention of probably my favorite movie when I was a kid, Last Action Hero with Arnold Schwarzenegger. Did you ever see Last Action Hero?
I can't say I have. It's not ringing a bell.
It is incredible. It is a movie that just makes fun of other action movies. Basically, a quick rundown of the movie, since it's not my actual pick, is a kid gets a magical movie ticket that allows him to somehow or another go through the movie screen at his movie theater and go into the Last Action Hero movie where Arnold Schwarzenegger is the hero of it, and he pretty much is like it's basically like a comedic version of an action movie where he like knows he's invincible and shit, and like goes home and somebody broke into his house and he just sprays his closet with gunfire and like 3 bad guys fall out of it. And it basically just makes fun of all the tropes of action movies from the 90s in an action movie from the 90s. It's fucking hysterical. It's just really good, terrible, bad jokes from Arnold Schwarzenegger, which is super funny. But my actual number 5 pick, definitely worth watching if you haven't seen it. It's fucking
I'm
hysterical.
gonna watch it because like October, like for some reason the October, November, December time frame is like where like I feel like watching 90s movies and like Hollywood movies.
Yeah.
So like this is where I start breaking out the nostalgia.
Oh yeah, it's great. And if you've ever seen Terminator 2, did you ever see Terminator 2?
Oh yeah.
So you know the Terminator like turns into like goo and shit.
Yeah.
But that guy plays, because it's set in L.A. and LAPD. He plays an LAPD cop, like the LAPD cop uniform he wears in Terminator 2. That actor plays that guy. So basically, that guy lives in that universe because it's obviously making fun of those movies and shit from the 90s. So it's super fucking funny as far as that goes. My number 5 actual pick is 1995's Heat. Al Pacino, fucking, it's an awesome movie. It's great.
Yeah.
Robert De Niro's in it. It's got probably the best shootout scene of all time as far as like sound design and shit goes, because they had actual live gunfire on set. They recorded real firing of real weapons on the street, so the echoes and all that stuff from the sound bouncing off of the buildings and stuff is true to what would have happened. And I've seen multiple different breakdowns from like actual like military guys and stuff like that say that action scene itself is pretty realistic as far as like cover and move and fucking them shooting and reloading and staying on target and stuff like that. So awesome movie. Plus, yeah, it's great.
Absolutely. My number 4, 1990, just making the list. Goodfellas.
Classic.
Goodfellas. Classic. Gotta make the list. One seen Goodfellas. It is like on every top 5 mobster gangster movie list, Goodfellas is on there, guaranteed.
We talked about it a couple weeks ago. It's my favorite Joe Pesci role. He's fucking fantastic.
Absolutely.
Okay.
Absolutely.
My number 4, another action movie, 1993's Demolition Man, with Sylvester Stallone, Wesley Snipes, and Sandra Bullock. Did you ever see this flick, Demolition Man?
I can't say I have either.
Oh my god, you're gonna have a long list of movies to watch. It is incredible because it is a 1990s action movie, and it's John Spartan is like the cop, and he fucking gets arrested for catching the bad guy because he basically is the Demolition Man. He blows up buildings to get his fucking guys. So he fucking blew up a building, and he goes into like cryo sleep, which is like a prison, but instead of, it's like the fucking Austin Powers thing where you get frozen.
Yeah.
So he gets frozen for I think it's like 40 or 50 years or whatever, and he gets let out to go and fight Wesley Snipes' character, who's let out before him. And it's just so crazy because in this new world, there's no more crime, there's no violence, there's no nothing. So everybody just like walks around, and it's like the craziest utopian. It's basically what like the fucking the crazy leftist people of today want America to be like. Like there's no cursing. If you curse, a ticket gets printed out on the wall and you have to pay a fine. It's incredible. Nobody touches hands. They all do like fucking air handshakes and stuff. It's fucking hysterical. And a guy basically straight out of the 90s, getting frozen in the 90s, moving right up to 2050 or whatever, where nobody touches hands and nobody has sex. Everything is like virtual and stuff. Nobody curses. It's amazing. It's exactly how we would feel if that was happening.
My number 3, 1998, Rush Hour.
That's my number 3 too.
Chris Tucker. That is an amazing movie.
It's fantastic.
Rush Hour. It's like the very first almost great comedy action movie.
Oh yeah, it's up
where
there for sure.
It's like the best of comedy, the best action. 2 dudes who would never be teamed up together, and it just makes for comedy gold.
Oh yeah.
Great movie.
It's fantastic, and I just started watching a couple of months ago. A couple of guys on YouTube. It's Corridor Crew on YouTube. I don't know if you guys have ever watched them, but they do like breakdowns with like special effects artists and stuntmen and shit like that. And they had a special effects, or not a special effects, a stunt guy come on, and he talked about different scenes in Rush Hour and how Jackie Chan basically owns his own stuntman company, and he always works with the same stuntmen on all of his movies. And he's like the godfather of modern stunts as far as like from China to now, and or China to America rather. It's just incredible because he does all of the stunts himself. He's like 60 years old or 55 years old or whatever in the movie, and he's sitting there jumping over fucking chairs and sliding under tables and through windows and stuff. And just the vision of coming up with these lines of like 6 or 7 or 8 or 9 stunts all in a beat where like people have to move perfectly and fall perfectly and hit each other and fall over and kick a chair. It's just crazy how it all works.
Oh yeah,
this is in the fucking 90s, bro. This isn't today. It's like a long time
Jackie
ago.
Chan is the godfather of
movie stunts. For 100%.
That dude, yeah, that dude's untouchable.
Oh yeah, he is the fucking.
And you probably fight a motherfucker. Imagine fighting Jackie.
Definitely, dude. Definitely.
Like, that dude probably doesn't get the credit he deserves for fighting. That dude probably fucked someone up. Terrible. So I'll go into my number 2 then. 1999. Big Daddy. Adam Sandler. Classic. Our best friend Nick starred in it. He actually played Julian.
Yeah.
And
you think
so? And it's a great, all around great movie. Since having a kid, it makes the movie 100 times more funnier than it already is. Like, it's already hilarious, and then having a kid, it's where all he wants to do is sleep, and the kid's just rolling around in the newspaper. He's like, lay down, sleep. Like, all right, I'm up.
That's fucking
and
funny.
He makes a mess, and then I'm just like, dude, I feel you. I feel you, man.
Yeah, I can see that being definitely hitting home for you, especially with all the stuff you tell me about later. That's funny. Okay, my number 2, 1995's Bad Boys.
Oh,
awesome
okay.
Action comedy as far as that goes. Martin Lawrence, Will Smith. I'm honestly, I was super surprised when I found out it was 8 years later that Bad Boys 2 came out, because I don't know how this movie didn't immediately get a sequel 18 months later.
Yeah,
it is
great movie.
Oh, it's fantastic. It's
another one where comedy and action just play perfect together.
Yeah, no, Martin Lawrence is fucking hysterical in this movie. The whole shit. He has to pretend to be Will Smith's character of the entire movie, and it's so fucking funny how he's just he's like the shorter, like, no, he's not fat, but like the chubbier guy. He's not handsome Will Smith, pretty much, obviously, and he's just got to try and play that guy who has that reputation. And it's just fucking so awesome how they just work that. Fantastic movie.
100%. My number 1, 95, Billy Madison.
Bro, 95 was a good year for movies.
Right? Billy Madison, hands down, hilarious.
Yeah.
Amazing. Yeah. That's when Adam Sandler was killing it in movies.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, 90s Adam Sandler is peak Adam Sandler for sure.
Yeah. Happy Gilmore, Little Nicky, Billy Madison, Big Daddy. He owns the 90s.
Crazy. Those movies are incredible. Those are all killers. If you go like, okay, pick me the
Waterboy.
Yeah, give me the top 10 comedies of the last 30 years. He's got at least 4 of them locked up.
Oh yeah,
for sure.
Absolutely
crazy. It's my number 1. It's one of the best movies, probably of that whole decade. Saving Private Ryan came out in 1998.
Oh, okay.
Absolute killer of a movie. Bro, people from World War II that went to see that movie said they had to leave the theater because it was too real for them. That's incredible. That they got so much of that right. They got the chaos of D-Day right, and how fucking it was just like, okay, the guy to the left of you and the guy to the right of you probably gonna die. 2 of the 3 of you are probably gonna die. Like, it was just so chaotic. and super realistic as far as all of the actual events happened through that, and they actually went and they found Private Ryan and they did the whole thing, and it was just such a challenge to even get it done in the way they did it so authentically. I don't know. I just, every time I watch that movie, it just, if I see it's on, I'm just glued to the TV for the next 2 hours because it was just so incredible.
It is a very good movie.
Oh, so good.
That never popped in my head. It's a great movie.
Oh yeah, for
great
sure.
movie in the 90s.
Solid
list,
dude. And it's got so many fucking crazy actors in it. Tom Hanks, Matt Damon, bro. There's a billion. Vin Diesel's in that fucking movie. Okay, come on, fucking Vin Diesel.
Solid list.
100%.
People are going to be bringing back these 90 movies. People are going to be locking in fall season, fucking spice, 90s movies.
Absolutely.
You know, blankets and fires.
There you go. Yep. And we will have next week on the sports show, we will have the Stanley Cup will probably be ended by then. When we're recording now, obviously it's not over. We'll do week 3 and 4 recap of the fantasy breakdown. So we'll have 2 Wall of Shames. I'll probably be on there, to be honest, but that's fine. I'll take it. I'll take what it is.
And we got 2 special guests joining us next week.
Do.
If you guys watch Food Network, Worst Cooks in America, very funny. The winner of season 20, I believe, will be joining us along with her husband that she does her podcast with. Don't want to miss out on that.
Nope. It's a good one. It's going to be good.
Follow us. Facebook, Twitter, Instagram.
At Cereal Box Rejects. Later, dudes. Also,
peace out.
Congrats, Joe Nappy. Ruben will get with you to send you that thing.
Joseph.
Good luck.
Joseph.
Later.
I probably owe him money for ruining his wall.
You could send that with the fucking poster.
I drove through his dad's brick wall.
He doesn't live there anymore. It's fine. He moved. He's good. You're good. You're out. You don't got to pay him no more. Later.